Greetings from downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. It is around 1:20 p.m. Eastern Time and about 40 degrees Fahrenheit. We're at the intersection of East 22nd Street and Prospect. And even though I'm on my bike, a lot of times when I do a bike riding video, it's to showcase certain bike paths. Today's video is actually more of an accelerated exploring video, and we're going to try to hit several areas in one. We're starting off in downtown Cleveland. We're not going to really talk a ton about downtown, but we're going to make our way to the portion of the flats where there's been a lot of development going. I'm not sure how good the sidewalks are going to be over there for walking and showing, but they're what used to be vacant or abandoned land is now being built into a bunch of living spaces that'll be available in the near future. And then after that, we're going to try to head on down to the Tremont area, Tremont neighborhood, and check out Tremont. And if all goes well, we'll try to wrap up the video by passing through the Christmas Story House area. That'll sort of tie into the holiday spirit. Still a bit breezy. It makes it feel a little bit colder than 40. Now passing by East 17th and Prospect. I know there may not be a lot to see here, but on Prospect, this is where one of the entrances to Playhouse Square would be. If you went to the right, that would take you up toward the rest of Playhouse Square and Euclid Avenue, as well as the big chandelier. I didn't realize there was a Rise dispensary in downtown Cleveland. You know, there's one of those in Lakewood, just past West 117th and Madison. We're on the other side of the Halley building. See, they've got their parking garage sign here. Sidewalks aren't the best for biking here. Lots of steep bumps on the, what do you want to call it? They don't have those nicely graded Domino's Pizza is there on the left. I've been there a couple of times, probably like 3 times before. Every time it's been a nice pizza. I'm a big Domino's Pizza fan. Out of all the nationwide chains, that's my go-to one. We're approaching East 9th Street, and this is the Cuyahoga County administration headquarters on our right. This is where you start getting a bit more active on Prospect. If you went to your left on East 9th, that would take you to Progressive Field. And if you made a little bit of a, well, let me while I'm paused here, you can actually look over there. That's Progressive Field over there, home of the Cleveland Guardians. And then just to our left, if you went down that diagonal road, Huron, that's where Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is. And then again, toward Euclid Avenue, you would have Heinen's and the old Cleveland Trust Building. If you kept on going all the way down East 9th, you would eventually hit Lake Erie, where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is also located, as well as the Great Lakes Science Center and Huntington Bank Field, where the Cleveland Browns currently play. In the future, they're slated to move to Brook Park, Ohio. Got Southern Tier Brewing Company here. After this parking lot here, there's a fun mural on the wall. Very colorful. Also a reference to Cleveland on it.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then up here you got one end of the 5th Street arcades, anchored now by Geraci's Pizza on the outside, the slice shop, formerly home of Vincenzo's. Oh, we got a little bit of construction going on here, so let me, no traffic's coming, let me briefly pop into the street. Yeah, it's the 5th Street arcades that I'm passing up on the right. You also have a Barrio. A couple days ago, Barrio was popping down here. There's also a Barrio in Tremont. A lot of these places, of course, are going to be much more active in the evening time. And then East 4th Street, again, different story when you're here in the evening. Especially on a cold day, you're not going to see a big lunchtime presence. Flannery's is right here onto our right. Just had to take a quick phone call there, hence the interruption of footage for a second. This is pretty cool. They have like a little sign there letting you know that it's safe to cross, as opposed to if a car was coming. Then before that, they've had like the stop sign hand up. The back side of the old May Company building, they also have one of those parking garage walk signs here. I swear, I'm sure that's around in other places, and I maybe you just have overlooked it, but I've never seen that before. That's a really good idea, because usually I stop and slowly peer around the corner. Up ahead there would be Public Square. I did a video on the Christmas decorations on display at Public Square. This is Jack Casino in front of us, formerly the Higbee Company building. You can still see the sign straight ahead of us that says Higbee Company. Also, keep on going forward, that would be Tower City Terminal Tower. future years they have proposals and plans to expand some of the development behind Tower City back here to extend out to the Cuyahoga River and make it a park and multi-purpose trail. So that's something, if that actually comes to fruition, would be pretty nice. Over on the left is one of the other entrances that you can get into Tower City at. I'm not sure why they have several of these like speed bump looking things. That's where you keep hearing the bump on my bike. We've got a yield sign here, and this one has an actual crosswalk. See one of the many buses that can come into downtown Cleveland, 55 route that goes to, actually the final stop is right where I started this video, to Cleveland State University, but specifically the Stephanie Tubbs Jones Transit Center. I don't know if it's called Transit Center, Stephanie Tubbs Jones something. And then over to our right there would be the warehouse district area. Because I'm going to be going into the flats, I want to make sure I'm on the north side of Superior Avenue. Look at construction of the Sherwin-Williams building. I know you're only seeing the bottom of it right now because of the way I have my camera. I don't want to readjust my camera right now because I've done that before, and then when I forget to reset it when I resume bicycle riding, and then what you end up seeing is as I'm riding my bike, the camera is just pointed directly at my feet on the ground. Here's the old Rockefeller building. Unfortunately, it's in a state of very much disrepair. I mean, not good at all. There's some articles that you can see pictures online, or someone I think did a video of it. Right now I'm walking because there's a bit of glass on the ground. Didn't want to have a piece of glass puncture my tire, possibly. Now we're at West 9th and Superior, ready to go downhill after we crossed. We caught the light better than you can plan for. Forgive the screeching of the brakes. Need to do a little bit of a tune-up. because the brakes weren't the best. I was didn't want to coast right into the river. Alright, so now if I would have made a right hand turn, man, there's so much glass everywhere. I'm having to weave my way in and out of this. But if I would have made a right hand turn at the bottom of the hill, that would have taken me to the Flats East Bank. I'm going over to the, and more glass. Let me just cross over here and get up on the sidewalk then. Maybe this side will be better. But if I made a right turn, that would take us to Columbus, and you can get over to the west bank of the Flats. We want to keep going. Over to the other side, because this is an area I don't have a lot of we're really gonna hear some. Let me hold that lock temporarily so you're not hearing the jangling. This is an area where I'm not sure what used to be down here way back in the day. You know, people who grew up in Cleveland can tell you, and you can help enlighten me as well. For most of my upbringing, it's just been vacant, empty grass fields, empty lots, abandoned looking buildings. But there's been a concerted effort to start upgrading this area. And I know Brewdog, I did a video once riding through here. That's a popular location. It's a restaurant, bar. I'm just deciding to walk through here. The cement on this side of the bridge is in pretty poor condition. Is the bridge about to go up? I mean, even though I'm past it, you can see or hear the noise being made. Yeah, I wonder, someone must be checking that, and let's turn the bike around, or turn the camera around and check this out. At least that side went down. Now the other side's going down. Feel free to skip this part of the footage if it doesn't interest you. I've just never been in person when this bridge is lifting. while we're waiting, I can pan the camera around. The old Sherwin-Williams headquarters was located sort of like right there. You may be able to see the sign. So it was sort of like below Tower City and across the street. And then the new one you can see in proximity, standing much taller and grander. Still not the tallest building. That would be Key Tower, and then Terminal Towers next. And I'm pretty sure Sherwin is, I have to, correct me if I'm wrong, I gotta look at it again. I think Sherwin was third, and then the Huntington BP building is fallen to fourth. Oh, here we go, now we got it lifting up. So like imagine that's the area we were just going across. Turning around every so often to make sure someone's not stealing the bicycle or something. You can see how it's like an elevator type system where the big weight dropping on the end part to help lift the street in the system with the pulleys. Yeah, and then that will allow the whatever ship to proceed on the Cuyahoga River. Alright, so I'm going to continue on with the agenda though. Make sure I put my camera in the correct mode again. There we go. That was my one exception. That was I'll try to make a few exceptions where I change the camera mode. Just charging it again. So the bike trail continues to the left, and I've taken that many times into downtown Cleveland. Not sure if I've ever taken it while exiting. So if we hop on over here to the right, Brewdog, like I said, and I did a video a couple years ago. I'm not sure if when I passed through here, I'm not sure if any of this construction was underway for the other places going up around Brewdog, but I figured it would be fun to pass through. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Even the Brewdog setup is a little bit different. I thought you used to be able to just like go through. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Alright, so I'm not sure how good of a walk we'll be able to get through here. But let me see how the camera looks. I think I'm just going to try to walk straight through. Basically the point is I wanted you to see everything that's on the left and right. This is all new. Imagine this was all empty grass fields before. Now it's going to be home to modern living on the Scranton Peninsula on both sides of the street. Yeah, so because of all the construction going on, we might not be able to venture on down too much. You can see They're putting finishing touches on. You know, you got the utility companies out here. I'll go at least until the fences conclude here. Now, I feel like at some of these locations they may have plans for lower level spaces for possibly like restaurants or cafes or maybe a shop, but otherwise, you know, the rest of it's all going to be living related quarters. Yeah, so this will be as far as I'm comfortable going. I think that gives you a good glimpse of all the development and, you know, how deep these buildings go. It's not just like one little thing on the edge of the street. They go back 1, 2, 3, 4 different levels. So you're going to have a huge influx of new apartment units down here. So that's why, in my opinion, it only makes sense. You have Brewdog, but now, like, that's gonna encourage, like, wait a minute, you know, a lot of these other, you know, maybe restaurants or cafes, they're gonna have a big customer base where they can open a place within walking distance. Actually, before I take off, I want to make sure I grab a picture for social media purposes, so I can kind of show before and after. And whenever all this is open, rest assured I'll return to do a more thorough video. That one will probably be a walkthrough when I do it. But yeah, this gives you a glimpse too of how far it goes back. So because that road's closed off, initially I was debating on, okay, how am I going to get to the Tremont area? So I'm going to go to that bike trail that I was referencing earlier. We got quite a few vehicles turning that way. I think they're all going, no, not all of them. Some of them are going toward Brewdog. I'm gonna pop over to the other side because that's where you can see the bike trail at. Smoother surface. Now from the lower perspective, you get views of downtown Cleveland and the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Progressive Field, Fire Department 21. During the summer months, probably even more than summer, like spring, summer, parts of fall, you'll see a lot of geese hanging out in this road, and hence a lot of geese droppings. But then you also have some people that do like a little bit of fishing. Over to the left, also the bridge you see above us is the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge. Also where the guardians of traffic statues are located. And part of the inspiration for when the Cleveland Indians baseball team changed their name to the Guardians. Still maintaining a local relevancy to the name, even though, you know, when a lot of national people hear that name, they're like, what the heck? Like, who names their teams the Guardians? And then this connects you right up to the Tremont neighborhood. Obviously much funner to ride this path down than it is upward. Just beyond this small hill to the right is one of the Cleveland script signs. And then at the end of this trail, you meet up with the old Sokolowski's Inn. I had the pleasure of going in there for a colleague's retirement party a few years ago. But Sokolowski's Inn is now permanently closed. They retired the business. So this is the Abbey Road. If we went that way, you would end up heading right back to West 25th Street, where the West Side Market is. And like I said, there is a Cleveland script sign over there. We're going to try to navigate over to Professor, where most of the dining options are located, and artsy shops, and I believe where they do the Tremont Art Walk during certain parts of the year. See the sign to our left saying Tremont. Over there on the left on Fairmount, or Fairfield, sorry. You got the south side. Some artwork in this area too. You can see the birds across the street going every which way. Let's give you another caveat. When I'm showing these areas, by the way, there's the what should be the 18 bus that passes through Tremont if you're a rider of RTA. Actually, no, I take that back. It used to be the 18, now it's the 25. Or it used to be the 81 bus. 81 is now the 18. When they changed it to the 18, it became a different, picked up different portions of the route, and then the 25 bus acquired some areas. So here is Professor. And again, what I was going to say was the caveat to this is, one second, let me take this off my mode. The caveat to this is when I'm shooting this video, it's not during the time of day when you're going to see a lot of people out. A, it's cold in winter, near winter time. B, it's not the evening. It's a Tuesday. So I'm hitting all the cylinders. This is Martha on the Fly. It looks to be like a little, I don't know, I can't quite tell, but one of the many places down here. There's a Fifth Third Bank ATM across the street for anyone that needs to use a money machine in a pinch. There's also a Tremont Yoga Club and Climb Cleveland. Small climbing gym, it appears. There's more of those birds and peace signs. Here's High and Dry Bowling and Beer. Let's briefly walk down a little bit. Shot Shack over here on the left. It looks like they've got some games inside. And you've got Barrio down here. It looks like during the day they have some, or during the evening maybe, they have some inflatables hooked up. But yeah, we saw the Barrio earlier that was downtown Cleveland, so this is the Tremont location. I know they also have one down in or up in Lakewood, Ohio. Never seems to fail. All of their locations seem popular whenever I go by them. Across the street there's Nirvana Coffee Company. And then we'll go ahead and turn around here just to head back up to Professor. Interesting looking bike rack there made out of a small version of the bird mural. I don't know if I showed it before the car moved. It was across the street there. Up ahead a little bit there's another business with a, looks to be, it says Life's Batter in Tremont. I think it's an ice cream shop. And over on our left, Professor Market, so large selection of wines and grocery options. Across the street looks like there's a clothing shop. And then Crust Pizza Kitchen and Bar. Dante's. I wonder if they actually open like a little patio up there. St. John Cantive School on our right. Then on our left you have Roasted, I presume tea, coffee. It also says board games on the window. Wonder what this is. It's someone probably advertising their business, if I had to guess, which is pretty unique. Maybe some magnets that they sell. Across the way is St. John. And then over here, Tree House, 25 years, established 1996. And then this is the intersection of Professor and College. More of those bird things located on the garbage can. And some pretty fun prints. And then there's a Tremont History Project, where on the wall it's going through an illustrated timeline in the history of Tremont, so that's really cool. Tremont Art and History. And then interpretations of Tremont, some historic postcards, the Titus collection. Across the street there, you've got a neighborhood family practice location embedded in Tremont. There's a barber shop. And then some more businesses down here. Lil Ronnie's Pizzeria. Edison's Pub. I guess that's why the light bulbs. And look at the big unicycle, or not unicycle, but the big, whatever those bikes are called, as the bike rack. More bird murals. That artist must have just had free reign to go throughout Tremont. And look at this, there's a house just nestled in all these businesses, upstairs and downstairs. This one here is the Bourbon Street Barrel Room. You can check out their menu. Right now they're closed for the day. Or not for the day, but closed for the lunchtime hours. I don't know if they're open Tuesdays or not. And then we're approaching Professor and Jefferson. You can see right here, cool water, dry goods, vintage clothing, and home goods. A few more, I think, storefronts as opposed to restaurants across the street. And then on the corner here you have the Cilantro Taqueria. And there's a Thai fun place for Thai bistro. The Flying Monkey Pub. Vintage Rock Hair Studio. And then the sign right here says Tremont. I wonder if that indicates that it's sort of like the bookend of the businesses on Professor. Now you can see we're sort of moving into these smaller houses on both sides of the street. So let me go ahead and reattach this camera to my chest. Alright, I am all set up again. Back on the bicycle. So what I think will be our final stop on this video today will be, as I mentioned earlier, passing by the A Christmas Story house. I believe it was sold to a new owner, but they are still, I didn't read an article to go in depth about if there was any plans or what, but it's still in operation, so my assumption is that whoever bought it plans on keeping it almost just exactly as it was, or expanding, or whatever. A few more places down here at the end of Professor, including a fine Indian cuisine and bar, Tandul, and Evie Lou, that looks like a clothing shop. There's also furniture makers. This is Starkweather in Professor. And oh, look, I forgot about this. So there's another one of those bird murals. I'm going to head the other direction in a second. But this is that popular church where they had that massive, I'm pretty sure it was a massive fire. St. Theodosius Orthodox Cathedral. Sorry, I'm just trying to get out of the sun. So I'm not sure when it'll be in condition to be reopened or if they'll be able to reopen it. But yeah, it slipped my mind that, like, hey, I'm gonna be passing right by that, because I hadn't been by here since the fire earlier this year. So wine and design is on our left. You also have the beauty room, finishing salon, the cats and coffee place. That's funny. The place where you can have coffee and probably hang around a bunch of cats. Furniture makers. Lucky's Cafe also on the left. Lucky Park on the right, a little small park. Starkweather is a one-way road. You can see cars coming my direction. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I can cut down West 10th Street. But I need to be on this side anyway. I mean, I know it's like quiet out, but it's not too cold, and it's just very pleasant. Some of this neighborhood gives me vibes of when I visited St. Louis, some of the areas in St. Louis. Just the architecture. Stop messing around. That little bird on the left side. So West 14th Street. We're going to make a left-hand turn. Diagonally to our right, on the side of that convenient food mart, that's where one of those Welcome to Tremont murals is located. Lincoln Park Pub is to our left, as well as Grumpy's Cafe. Starkweather was one way going toward the east. Auburn is one way going toward the west. We're going to make a left turn once we get up to Clark, which I believe is the next traffic light. Hey, this person still has a Halloween inflatables up. You're also not very far from Steelyard Commons. Just go actually, pretty much beyond this light, and then you start going down the hill to Steelyard Commons. Now, years ago, I want to say it was probably 3 years ago. If not, it would have been 2. I did a dedicated video to the Christmas Story because I actually bought a ticket and took the tour. Can't remember if I had this camera back then that I'm filming with now or if I was just using my cell phone. But I'll try to remember to put a link to that video in the comments if you want to check it out. So you can see all the industry that's ahead of us. So Christmas Story House and Museum is off of West 11th Street. I know when I came years ago, it was during a weekday. One second, I'm going to take the camera off again. Yeah, when I came years ago, it was during a weekday. Probably around this time. And I want to say it was fairly close to Christmas, like less than a week away from Christmas. And it was fairly busy. I mean, it wasn't like ridiculously crazy crowded. But there was a decent line, you know, and you get a timed ticket and go over with your appropriate group. Unless it's further in the back. One thing I don't see up at the moment is the giant inflatable of the Ralphie dressed in the pink bunny suit that was here years ago. There's the Raleigh's Inn bar right there. This is the Bumpus house. To my recollection, this is where you can actually register, sort of like a hotel, and stay there. You can also do the same thing for the Christmas Story house. I'm sure it's pretty pricey to do that. Every day, open year-round, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Closed Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day, and all other major holidays. There probably is a tour going on right now, just because I could see in the window like people taking pictures and such. But maybe it is also just the time where if you came and did a tour, maybe you wouldn't need like a big tour group, because I don't really see big lines outside or anything. This is one of the top tourist attractions that you can get. You also have the gift shop, which I did a video in there again when I did that as well. Some of the models of the cars back in the day. Yeah, you actually can purchase your ticket, I believe, inside the gift shop. At least that's how it was back then. And you would go wait with your group across the street. Alright, so that will conclude the major part of this video. I might do a slight appendix afterward, venturing a little bit elsewhere, but if you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, how did I forget this? The actual museum portion of the Christmas Story house, where they have artifacts and such, is located right there inside of that building. Okay, ready for your appendix to cap off the video? Down here by the Clark Fields, a few years ago they dedicated one of the fields to was dedicated by Jose Ramirez. I think when I've seen pictures online that it looks like a really nice field, sort of similar to what they did with the old Talty field at Brookside. I believe they named that one after Jim Tomei, if I'm not mistaken. So let's try to check that out. Also gives you some nice views as I'm heading down of the Industry. Oh yeah, you can see the Jose Ramirez field from here. There was one year, I played high school baseball, but there'd be There was one year when I also did summer ball. And at least one or more of the games took place down here at the Clark Fields. But back then I was such a naive Clevelander as far as where things were. Like I have visions remembering this area, but I didn't know at the time. I mean, yeah, like at the time I didn't know, like, okay, where am I? I knew I was somewhere on the west side, but I didn't have perspective of this whole area. Jose Ramirez Field. Now, unfortunately, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Fortunately and unfortunately, I was going to say, fortunately for the sake of maintenance and upkeep, unfortunately for someone like me who just wants to relive the nostalgia days, is that, you know, I'm pretty sure this is one of those parks that, you know, you need to be like an organized league to do, or definitely have rented out. Well, let's see down here to the left. I'm going to try to put the camera above the fence. All right, here we go. So yeah, so very, very nice. You know, I just remembered, I haven't shown my Poco Traveler hat during the video at all, or myself. So that gives me a chance to do that. Up here you get a good view of it as well. Out there it says Guardians, and then the JR number 11 for Jose Ramirez. And then the scoreboard. So pretty cool. Thanks for tuning in again, everyone.